Those who incited, organized, funded, or executed these attacks will face the full force of the law. The financiers and political sponsors of this mayhem are being investigated and will soon answer for their crimes. Similarly, any police officer accused of unlawful use of force will face the law. As I speak, one police officer has already been arraigned and is facing murder charges. Further, any excesses by law enforcement officers will be investigated and appropriate action taken on those found to be culpable. Cognizant of the raging debate and national concerns on the use by security personnel, I will this Friday, pursuant to Article 245(4) of the Constitution, be issuing a policy directive to the Inspector General of Police on the use of force and firearm by law enforcement officers. What was witnessed on 25th of June and 7th July was stark testament to the extent to which the sponsors of this anarchy are ready to go to subvert the Constitution. This was not protest. It was pure premeditated criminality, deliberate, dangerous, and deeply disturbing. The right to assemble, demonstrate, picket, march unarmed, and present petitions to authorities is guaranteed by our Constitution, and that cannot ever be taken away. Invasion of hospitals, rape, attack on ambulances, looting of businesses, forceful entry of protected areas, vandalism, erection of illegal roadblocks, and torching of government installations, including police stations and administrative offices, are vile crimes and must be treated as such. We cannot, as government and as a nation, normalize the senseless loss of lives and livelihood and the threat to peace and stability. I once again urge all citizens to reject and denounce violence. I ask all Kenyans to channel their grievances through legitimate and constitutional means and deny criminals the chance to destabilize our great country. To the financiers, organizers, executors, take note. This reign of terror against the people of Kenya and the impunity of criminal gangs must come to an end at whatever cost. Asanteni sana, and God bless Kenya. Thank you very much. I assume there's no questions. My statement is very clear, and I do not intend to take questions today. Yeah? Asanteni sana. God bless you. Do you must ask a question? Okay, I'll take only 3 then. And must include one lady.
Thank you so much, CS. Even as you talk about policy and the use of firearms, there has been concern about the operation security officers use during riots and demonstrations. For instance, there has been incidences where civilian officers and civilians use very heavy firearm, and some of them are hooded, and some of them are also using civilian registration number plates for vehicles, the so-called Subarus. Is this particular policy also going to inform or address these concerns? Because in some instances, and especially from the human rights group, they are labeling this squad as a killer squad. And this also has been voiced and reiterated by the opposition, led by the former Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua, who says there is 101 units.
One more gentleman.
I'd like to have a clarification if it's for both the protests 23.7. Also, on Sabasaba, there was minimal entrance of protesters to the city. Yet, ironically, it's the day that the numbers were the highest. So the killings were recorded in residential areas that it happened. Are we seeing a trend of protests moving away from town and other counties, and what are we going to counter such in the future? Also, Julia Kariuki was one of the protesters in Miami. So she went to police custody. The next day she was arraigned. She went back to the cell. In the morning she was dead. Of course, the police, they released a statement that was clear on that. So we'd love to know if you've done investigations to find out what happened to her and what led to her death. Thank you.
Last one, the gentleman at the end.
As you know, there were reports that foreigners were involved in the kills. Can you confirm if that is the case?
Thank you. Let me say this. First, on the security officers, Seth Olale's question on security officers, how they were dressed, the vehicles they were using, and whether there is a specific team that is meant to kill people. First, let me say this, that a police officer, whether is wearing a uniform or not, is a police officer. And that police officer is bound by the law. There's no rules that excuse a police officer that if you are not in uniform, you can commit crimes or you can kill people. The same law that upholds killing of citizens by a police officer in uniform is the same law that also upholds the same from a police officer who is not in uniform. There are clearly indicated situations where a police officer may not be required to be in uniform. And sometimes when they're doing investigations. And some investigation officers are always embedded in these situations to make sure that they collect the evidence immediately that will help in apprehending criminals. Police officers also, whether they're using a Subaru or walking on foot or using a lorry, are expected also to abide by the law. And that's why we say that any claims that there is a police officer who is killing people, whether he's in civilian or not, must be investigated, and we must ensure that those who have been affected by their actions are brought to justice. So there is no excuse. The dress code of a police officer is not an excuse. In fact, a police officer who sleeps in his house and there is an emergency and he needs to rescue a citizen does not need to wear a uniform. Just wake up and go and rescue, and then do what you need to do as a police officer. Then the rest is, the uniform is just for identification, when you need identification. So the point here I want to make here is that all cases of excesses reported will be investigated equally. Number two is to say that there is no non-police squad that is involved in killing people, at least not in this administration, and not that the cabinet secretary is aware of. It would be unconstitutional and illegal to establish a squad anywhere in Kenya to kill people. All the squads, all the police formations and units in the Republic are intended to protect people, not to kill people. Their responsibility is to protect the citizens of Kenya. On the question of numbers, the 42 are for the 2 days, on the 25th of June and 7th of July. On the 25th, the numbers recorded, and official recorded by National Police Service, is 17. On the 7th, it was 25. And a good question is, how come even after we have blocked the city, the access to the city, more people died? You see, the criminal activities were happening all over the country. And in that situation, banning of supermarkets, invasion of police stations. In fact, more police stations were invaded outside the city than in the city. And you are right to say that there seems to be a new epicenters outside the city for this kind of protest. By the way, I need to say that, and it's in the statement, that this is unprecedented. In the past, we have had, of course, maandamano across the country, but the ones that are targeting specifically police stations, this is the first time that you can really say police stations are being, specifically targeted, which is a very unique phenomenon, and we are concerned, and that's why some people are being charged for terror, because by the time you're going for police station, your intention is not to pass your message. It's not even your intention to loot. Your intention actually is to undermine the institutions of democracy and peace and security with an intention of raining terror to the people of Kenya, so that then you leave them exposed and you instill fear on the citizens that there is no constitutional government in place, and therefore citizens are on their own and they can, have to protect themselves or,